Doing pretty good today. I'm in sort of I thought I was going to wake up really stressed out this morning because
Yeah.
it's a lot of energy I feel swirling around me. And I
Ooh.
took it on yesterday, and I've been working on doing some grounding. So I'm feeling surprisingly grounded. I think
Uh-huh.
getting to be with you and meditating this morning was really special. How
Awesome.
are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great for sure. I definitely feel the energy that you're talking about with this.
Mm.
On Sunday, Monday, we had a beautiful new moon. And it's the new moon, which is the new moon of Libra. And the new moon of Libra always is also what did I say? Signified in the Kabbalistic and Jewish traditions as Rosh Hashanah, right?
Oh, yes. Shana Tova. Happy New
Shana
Year.
Tova, exactly. So that energy is always an energy of renewal, especially the
Mm.
Libra new moon. And because there is so much energy around that shift and that change, we also had the equinox just last week as well. So we've had the equinox, we've had the new moon. We are still in 7 planets are in retrograde, including Mercury. So it is a chaotic time, or we perceive that it is chaotic. I loved your ask this morning about what can we do with it and how can
Mm.
we channel that energy to make it work for us, right?
Yeah, yeah, I'm really interested in that.
Yeah.
And I hear a lot of people talking about it. I'm so glad you brought up Rosh Hashanah. It's really significant in my life. It's actually it was my sobriety date initially. I had like the last drink I had was some wine with some Manischewitz with my friend. Um,
I'm so sorry. The last drink you had was Manischewitz?
yeah, yeah.
Oh
It
boy.
was great. But we, he was my best friend from childhood, and Jordan Parker, and he came up to New York to visit me, and we went to some Rosh Hashanah services out in Brooklyn,
Mhm.
one of his favorite synagogues that his grandparents had gone to when they had
Wow.
come over. Um, First from Poland, I believe, and then we went to church the next day to an Episcopalian church for Easter,
Oh.
and it was a really really special time then. And
Wait, are you I think you're thinking of Passover.
Passover, yes, thank you.
Yeah,
No, it must have been Passover, yeah, because they were the same time.
exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, Rosh Hashanah I love,
Exactly.
and I'm excited about the new year. Thank you for
Exactly.
that correction. And
Of course.
so yesterday I ran into this man. I live in the village of Rhinebeck. There's 800 people here, and when I first moved here, I ran into this guy at the grocery store,
Mhm.
and his I hadn't seen him in 2 years, maybe more. We went to NYU together, and he was one of
Mhm.
my first humans I ever met at Tisch School of the Arts, and we became friends. And
Wow.
then I just didn't see him again for 20 years, and we ran into each other here, and then we've been attempting to hang out ever since then. And he's continued to reach out, and I acknowledge him for it. It's so beautiful. And so finally, I was able to show up, and we got to have a Rosh Hashanah celebration, bring in the New Year yesterday. And he had a fire in the fire pit, and we brought sweet, wonderful things, and
Mhm.
met all these incredible people. And he paused to acknowledge the new moon and the new year, and asked us about intentions we want to bring in. And as I was talking to each person, like, people were dealing with stuff. One guy just lost a job. Another guy was going through financial crisis. The couple dealing with stuff, and I noticed everyone was feeling it, and I was even feeling it
Mhm.
on the way. And I was so relieved when people started sharing this with me, because I was really nervous and stressed out on the way. I was a
Mhm.
mess before we left, and I caught myself, and so I took some deep breaths, and I cleared it with Cassie before we left. And then we had this wonderful time. And what was so great for me was just seeing that everyone else was dealing with this
Sure.
energy too.
Sure.
And it was really comforting for me to know that I wasn't alone, and that everyone was a little nervous to meet each other. And I sensed that a lot of people were coming out of their shell for the first time. And I realized that's kind of what I was doing. It was the first neighborhood hangout I'd gone to where I really didn't know anyone. Um, and I'm still getting to know this new friend after 20 years, and and it was just magic, and I felt so taken care of there to the point where we were like, okay, we're gonna leave in 1 hour just to make sure we have a beginning, and then we didn't want to
Yeah.
leave. We were the last
Wow.
people there, and so I thought about how can we use this energy force? Where are we resisting to try to protect ourselves
Uh-huh.
and closing off and being like, no, 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 I'll just push all that stuff off to
Right.
later. Where if we just said yes or opened the door, that a whole kind of flow could come in, that we would actually be able to choose so much greater than what we're experiencing right now. And trying to
Exactly.
keep things at bay and stay protected. And I think
Yeah.
about that also with the hurricane and Hurricane Ian that's coming in, right? We've talked about it with Florida,
Right.
and surfers are the only people. When I see hurricanes, everyone else is terrified. They're planning their escape plans, and then every surfer I know is like messaging each other, like, "Dude, you hear about the hurricane? Like, grab your boards. There's going to be a great swell this week. Let's jump in." So there's people who are actually excited about this wild energy and how to literally surf with it.
God, I love
And
that metaphor. Yeah.
yeah, so how can we do that in our life?
I want to share something that just came to me. There's two things that I want to talk about. I want to talk about your friend really after, but I want to talk about exactly that energy that you're
Mm.
talking about. My teacher, Gary Douglas, founder of Access Consciousness, says that chaos is the source of creation,
Ooh,
right?
nice.
So if chaos is usually when chaos happens, we go into freak out mode, right?
Right.
And we go into freak out mode and we're like, oh my God, all hell is breaking loose. What am I supposed to do? This is crazy. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, right? But if we looked at it as a source of creation, and we could see that what happens with chaos is like literally energetically, things are breaking down to break through, right? It's like
Mm.
it looks like everything is falling apart. And the truth is that you're on the outside, it does look like it's falling apart, but basically it's like it's it's leveling the energy so that you can create something new, right?
Mm.
Now, I want to go back to what you said about your friend who you haven't seen in 20 years, right? Or a really long time, which is I love when these kind of things happen too, because you recognize also that the universe has like you guys were neither in positions to have any kind of relationship for those 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
right? But
Yeah.
you're in this small town of 800 people and you happen to both be there at the same time at the same place,
Yeah.
right? And so what is it? What did you notice about your friend that you were like, wow, you've changed, or wow, you there's something here and I'm so excited. Like what was that energy?
Mm.
Can
Well, the
you
energy
talk about
was
it?
I'm absolutely supposed to be meeting this person.
Okay.
Everything about it was I'm supposed to be going. And when I got there, I mean, we did not know each other that well in college. I think we were friends at the beginning, like
Uh-huh.
the first weekend, and then made all these friends, and then we kind of saw each other. We drifted apart,
Hmm.
right? But the second we met up, as if we'd been friends the entire last 20 years, like we hadn't skipped a beat.
Right.
And he's just like, "Come on, I want to show you this." And it was like, I don't know, it was so much ease and curiosity and love and joy were all present for both of us.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah. And also, you see also that the space with which you guys can both support each other, the space with which you can both be there for each other too,
Mm,
that
yeah,
you may have
yeah.
not
I've
been able to
noticed,
see
like, yeah,
before.
he said right away, like, yeah, I'm dealing with this, and this, and And I've been coaching a lot of young dads lately, and he's a young father, and also I've been wanting to, become a father, and so I feel like the universe has really brought us together for healing, and
Yeah.
that's really present to me too. Like it was so clear that
That, that,
that was
that,
there.
that, that, that right there.
Mm,
Beautiful.
mm,
Beautiful. And see, also, too, acknowledge that in the midst of chaos, there's always an eye of the hurricane,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
There's always an
Oh
eye.
yeah.
There's
Oh,
always
that's
an
good.
eye.
Yeah, that's what it felt like I was in yesterday. Yeah, and
And
when
both
I
of
came
you,
back home, it felt chaotic again. I'm just
yeah?
remembering that. Yeah, last night the energy was like my Cassie is an incredible barometer of the planet. She is such a dancer of energy, and she was literally like came home like dancing around the house last night, and I would just remember being like, "Whoa, I'm not in that same place." Like I'm just running around, and she was like, "Wah!" and wanting to play, and I even had this moment of making myself wrong for not wanting to play and her being
Uh-huh.
kind of frustrated that I wasn't where she was. And I was actually able to see that, let go, and be like, no, actually, I'm really choosing grounding. And I will find. I'll find a way to play with her right now, but I'm just not there, and make that okay.
Right.
And then the other thing is that when we were at this event last night, at this gathering, this woman walked in and Cassie said, "Oh my God, Kelly." And this is a woman who she met in town one of the first months we moved here. She met newly, and they've been trying to hang out for like 6 months. And they were both there.
Wow.
And it turns out this woman works with a wife of my friend, and so our world just went. And then this woman and I also had a ton in common, and it was just incredible. And Cassie kind of couldn't believe it. I was like, "Of course, we're just in someone's backyard, like 5 miles outside of town. Like we all
Mm-hmm.
had to drive further away, and then we all came together." And it just took someone
Wow.
creating the invitation. That's what I see was clear. He was,
Yes.
my friend was, and his wife were such a stance for having people over. He said, we used to have so much community and we miss that. We just want people in our yard. Just come be there and bring something to share. And it was just so wonderful and light and easy. And people came when they felt like it and left when they felt like it. And
Beautiful.
I'm wondering how we can create that ease in all areas of our life.
Yeah,
Like, where can
exactly.
we be an invitation to invite in some of this energy or collaboration? You said creation, chaos is the source of creation. So where are we trying to do it alone and protect ourselves? Where my sense is we could like lean into some vulnerability, and as
Mm-hmm.
we open ourselves up, and suddenly we're carried, even lifted
Yeah.
even more.
And I feel like that energy, Ben, you know, as we get deeper and deeper into the age of Aquarius that we're in, we're going to
Mm,
see that the new form of competition is really collaboration, right?
mm, mm-hmm.
And like you said, okay, now here's all this chaos and I'm supposed to create from it, but I only have these resources. But hey, you know
Mm,
what? Okay, universe, who else could you send into my sphere that I could collaborate with to create greater? And then all of a sudden, you've been asking for this energy to show up in your life, obviously, because it showed up. So it showed
mm,
up. And then what do you have? You manifested somebody who is such an incredible connector. Like this guy is
mm.
a connector. He likes to
Yes, he
have
is.
parties. He likes to have energy around him. So what will you guys
Yeah.
create together? So it's just my awareness is it's
Great
just
question.
always being in the space of allowance, right? If we're in the space of allowance and we're in the space of possibility, then we can bring others into our environment. And when we bring
Mm-hmm.
those others into our environment, then we're also a contribution for them as well, right?
Mm. Yeah, yeah,
I love
absolutely.
Jason's question. Jason says, "How can you handle?" Hi, Jason. By the way, hi everybody.
Good
How can you
morning.
handle when someone brings back in your life a chaos that happened to you? That's a really good question. Let me just read it again.
Mm.
How can you handle when someone brings back in your life a chaos that happened to you? So remember, Jason, that everything that shows up in our life is a direct ask of something that we've been asking for, right? Everything shows up because we have been asking for it. So the first thing I would become aware of is what is the divine life lesson that you've been asking for to have this shown back in your life again, right? It could be something as
Mm.
simple as forgiving yourself, man. Because I don't know what the situation is, but immediately I heard like, oh, this chaos. I don't want to deal with this chaos again. Maybe it was something you were a part of or something that you regret or whatever. What if you just acknowledge that this is an opportunity to choose differently? Right? Recognize, hey, you know what? I've learned a different lesson. I'm a different person. I'm going to choose differently and I'm not going to involve myself in it. Right? Being that space
Mm.
for yourself,
Mm.
Jason, so that
Mm.
nobody, and nothing in this world has control or power over us unless we give it. So, what you can do is also say, hey, what can I choose differently here? This is not light for me. I'm choosing something else. So,
That's
thank you
great,
for that question.
Daniel. Yes.
Yeah. Thank
And
you.
I'm also sensing that this is just an energy or a way of being, like especially if it's familial, that and it's an old way of being or familiarity that you may have had with someone, and they're bringing that back. That it's an
Mm-hmm.
opportunity. The question you've always asked is, who does this belong to?
Right.
Right, and return that to
Right.
the sender. Because if this is
Exactly.
old and it's not yours anymore, and you've moved on, and then that's the access rate you have right here. As soon as you're aware of it, because we've got to be aware before we can choose, right? If we're
Yeah.
just stuck at it, we're at the effect of. So as soon as you
Exactly.
can ask this question, how could you choose differently? So you notice the chaos, and
Yep.
then you notice your impulse to want to respond to it. Every action has a reaction. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're responding to that chaos and or trying to defend it or change it, you're interacting with it and you're actually enabling it. You're giving it energy and attention. So if you ask like, oh, what could I choose differently? You could just say, oh, thanks for sharing, or
Mm-hmm.
just walk away.
Yeah.
Or I
Yeah.
always think of the saying, detach with love.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
I love
choosing
that.
differently with love, even if it's like, you know, I'm just gonna. I need to take a few minutes, and I'll be back. We could talk about it.
Right.
Then, just to practice bringing some space to it, because just if someone else is like, no, 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 we have to talk about this right now, that's their that's their own chaos. It's their own energy, and they're in
Yeah.
there at the effective. Chances are their nervous system is turned on, and
Mm-hmm.
they may not even that may be their familiar pattern, but I'm sure it's painful for them too. So you saying, I'm not going to interact with this right now and come back to it at this time is actually great, like
Mm-hmm.
great healthy boundary and detaching with love, because
Jason, can I also say also, and this goes for
yeah,
all of us, please don't make yourself wrong.
yeah.
All right. Please, 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 for God's sakes, do not make yourself wrong. Because that is oftentimes one of the things that happens when I see, let's say, things from the past or chaos from the past that shows up in my life. And I'm like, oh, wow, God, I really didn't think I asked for that. I really don't know what to do with that. And then I go back to that place with which it was created. And I look at that version of myself and I go, oh, God, why did I make those choices? Why did I do those things? Why did I? And that is the place of making yourself wrong. And what if the places where you're making yourself wrong are actually the places where you can make yourself strong, right?
Ooh,
Acknowledge and say, hey, you know
love
what? This is
that.
so sweet that I was so innocent and so stupid at that time. Or that I made those silly choices that were right for me in the moment, but are not right for me now. And acknowledge yourself. Be like, fuck, man, I really, really, really have changed here. I have really, really evolved. I'm a different person. I'm not handling this the same way.
Mm.
I also want to acknowledge Ben. John Coney says he's waiting for the Eye of Ian to come right over us here at Disney in Florida.
Oh wow.
all of my family is also in that Central Florida area, and many on the coast of the Gulf as well. And we just want you to know that we are holding space for all of you in Florida, and we are sending pure unconditional love and pure unconditional light to Ian. May he have a change in temperature and dissipate, and may his anger subside and move towards
Yes.
kindness for all in his path. We love you, Ian. You're
Amen.
so cool. Ian's like the little bully. I see Ian like the little bully in kindergarten that always had wanted to make some noise, steal
Now's
other
his
kids'
chance. Yeah.
things. When everybody goes to recess, he's the one who's in your backpack stealing your lunch. You know, we love you, Ian. Just give Ian a big hug. All right, baby. It's okay. We hear you. We see you. We see you. We
I
acknowledge
love that.
you.
If you could give your hurricanes a big hug, that's great.
Yes,
It's beautiful.
totally.
I also
Yes.
love that this morning in the downloads, someone mentioned, "Oh, how refreshing that finally you're giving male names to hurricanes." That was great,
I know.
right? I mean, I thought, well, women are powerful, like way more powerful, so it makes
Mhm.
sense. But now
I
that
don't know where she got that
makes
from. That's
sense.
not true. I grew up in Orlando, and I will never forget my 8th birthday party was supposed to be a big circus in our backyard, like with the cotton candy and with the balloons and with everything. And it was canceled because of, ironically enough, Hurricane Bob. And they called me Bobby at the time. So I was like, you know what? Really? Really? This is what's going to happen now? Not fun. So
It's
peace out,
amazing.
hurricanes.
Yeah, love that. That's a
Uh-huh.
beautiful way to think about it. Letting go of that energy. And it's also interesting how we hold on to those things as kids, like those
Yeah.
birthdays when it didn't go as planned.
Hmm.
And we really make choices and decisions about ourselves. I At the time, I mean, I have a clear birthday story when I was young too, and I was left out. I was the only one not having a good time, and I was pissed.
Yeah.
and
And it was your birthday?
mhm, yeah,
Isn't that funny? Like it's your birthday and everyone else is having fun except you.
yeah, yeah,
And you're like, Mom, can we just go to McDonald's or something? And she's like, no, there's houses full of kids.
yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah, I
sounds like
wonder
very
what that is
familiar.
about us, and what we make up, right? That I
Hmm.
mean, I have a friend that always says, "Oh yeah, that's that I'm all alone by myself, nobody cares, blah blah
Yeah,
blah," that he has going on um,
right.
at all times, and it's an opportunity really to say like, "Hey, who does that belong to, and what can I choose differently?"
Yeah,
Because the
exactly.
truth is, and I see this a lot in the Lions Den and dude school and the groups of men that I'm hosting where these guys have now like some really great friends and comrades and community that they who care about them, who would love to hear about them, and still the reflex is not to reach out to connect when we're feeling most alone. Like, oh, I'm alone, nobody cares, right? When you could
Hmm.
literally pick up the phone and someone be like, oh my God, it's so good to hear from you.
Hmm.
And yet we can make them wrong for not reaching out to us.
Yes.
So there's an
Yes.
opportunity for us to be responsible for our own self care and putting the
Hmm.
oxygen mask on ourselves first and picking up the phone and asking. Um, I remember always feeling really times feeling alone. And as soon as I started reaching out to people, it always worked out some way. Someone would show up, or I'd see I was given the gift of alone time that maybe I needed and I didn't know.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's always an opportunity to connect. My friend Matt Johnson always says, the future of work is non-monogamous. He really believes that. When we were talking about choosing differently and how to open up and surf the waves of chaos, and I really believe it's in co-creating, and that sometimes it's just asking another human, "Hey, can I just share this with you? What do you see here? What do you think?" And boom, it moves just like that.
Right.
And so I really want to acknowledge everyone who's been here co creating with us. And Daniel, you're a big source of that in my life, reminding me that I don't have to do it alone. and that I can
Likewise,
ask for
Benjamin.
support.
Likewise, 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 likewise. You are have been for the last year such a breath of fresh air in my life that really allows me to see that I have other men that support me, right? I've
Mm.
always known that I have herds of women that support me, but when you showed up in my life, you were like, "Bro, I got your back." And I was like,
Mm.
"Wow. That's really cool. Awesome." And look at us now.
I feel the same way too. It feels really special.
Do you realize that this podcast is going to be a year old next month? Like in a few weeks?
What?
How
Oh my
crazy is that?
gosh.
I know.
Oh, I just got chills. I had no idea.
I know. I know. I
Wow.
know.
I feel
So
like we've been doing
awesome.
this for just a few months. That's amazing. Well, thank
Yeah,
you for everyone who's a contribution to that. And what else could we
exactly.
choose today? How could we choose differently and surf these
Exactly.
waves of chaos?
Surf the waves of chaos and insanity, right?
Daniel, you had an event going on today, right?
I
Speaking of
do.
surfing
I
these waves, do you want to share it with us?
Yes, I do. And this is something you and I have talked about for so long. Like, what can we do to bring consciousness and awareness into the workplace, right?
Mm,
And
yes.
I last Wednesday, we launched a program here at WeWork in Mexico City at WeWork, and it's called Wellness Wednesdays. And it is an amazing, amazing event in which we have it's open to everyone who's in WeWork to come and take a half an hour out of your day to connect to consciousness and to meditate and do all of that. And so we have that today, which I'm really looking forward to. And we're looking at what we can do to um, also broadcast it online. I mean, as we're
Mm,
starting to build the awareness and doing all that kind of stuff, we're also looking to do it online. So today we will also have that available online. I think, I told you it was going to be I would do it on Zoom, but I think it's probably lighter to just do it as an Instagram live. So what
mm,
if we do that? Or Facebook
great.
Live? I don't know. But
Yeah,
we'll
it's
tell
really
you,
easy for
we'll
people to
let you know.
pop on here too to find you.
Exactly.
Yeah, so let us
Exactly.
know. We can always post the link.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
we also have, so be sure to catch that. I'm really excited that you're bringing that to WeWork. Um,
Me too. The
so
goal is
I'm
to bring it
also,
globally, by the way, so if anybody listening is in a WeWork or you have, the desire to join WeWork, I have to tell you, it's the most amazing community. It's so freaking cool to have an office here. I've never had an office in my life. And I took it. It's right across the street from my house here, and I took the office. And I love coming to work every day. I love seeing faces, and I love meeting new people, and it's just awesome. It's beautiful because we've all been craving this kind of personal connection. You know what I mean?
yeah.
This personal connection. So we're looking to have more of that, right? Just like
Mm,
your friend. I love your friend's energy of like, hey, let's all come hang out in my yard.
yeah, it's great. And that we can bring this connection I love to the corporate environment too, that you're talking
Hmm.
about that, because I've
Yeah.
been teaching more workshops on self-care and stress and burnout for corporate environments, and I haven't really known how to reach a larger audience beyond here yet. So
Right.
I love that you're asking, for that, what else is possible for WeWorks and for any group to have this accessibility to healing and growth and connection. And that really does bring
Yes.
people together. It's a wonderful,
Yes.
wonderful way. And you can all close your eyes if you want to. So if you're uncomfortable in groups, you can just sit and listen and be guided, right?
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
great.
Doesn't
Well,
matter.
thank you so much for that contribution. And
Of
what
course.
else do we have going on? If there's anyone who happens to be near Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, or that part of the New Jersey, New York area, my band Dirty May is playing our first big fall festival, the
What?
Harvest Fest there. We're opening Saturday morning at 11 a.m. And we're playing a 2-hour show to bring in fall season. And
How
then the
cool.
following weekend, we're flying to Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina, and we're going up into the mountains to play a big festival for Chicory Grassroots Festival. So it's the Grassroots organization from New York, and they have this awesome festival in Chicory, 3 days, October 6th through the 9th, of folk, blues, and rock. And oh my God, we half of our band couldn't go because of weddings.
Uh-huh.
We just got the most amazing, like, so the band that Cassie looks up, one of our favorite bands that we love and have looked up to because of their female lead singer is a boss, is called Maddie Walsh and the Blind Spots. And we just had this wonderful treat that Maddie asked if she could sing backup for us because her bassist is going to be playing with us. And that's like having, I don't know, whoever your favorite singer be is, like, it's cool if I back you up. And you're like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was really, really neat. So we really thought there was a lot of, it felt like chaos because we had bandmates who are up to big lives, and suddenly we were trying to find replacements last second, and it felt stressful. And I just thank God for you in this podcast. I kept asking, what else is possible? What else is possible? How does it get any better? And
Awesome.
it's getting even better. It's really cool.
That's
So
so
here's to
cool.
that for all of us, that energy today, wherever you are, especially to those people down in Florida. And
Yeah, exactly. I am
sending
really, I
love.
have to say, I am really, really, really looking forward to seeing you guys like freaking jam out. And
Oh,
when every time you talk about being in a festival, like FYI, love you so much, but that's so not my vibe. I'm like, could I have Harry Styles at the Garden, please?
it's great.
But when
It's
you
great.
guys, I love you guys so much, and I love your music, and the idea of being at a festival with you guys, like, oh my god, that sounds so awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm putting that on my to enjoy list this year. So
Yes. Hey, if
for
there's any
sure.
festivals you hear about in Mexico, let us know. We're always, and we do private events too. We've played at WeWork headquarters in New York City before, so we're always down to come
Awesome.
travel. Um, well, thank you all so much. Have a
Thank you
beautiful day.
guys.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for being the change. And come check out Daniel's podcast, meditation today at WeWork,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, we'll do it on Instagram Live, so you guys will have an awareness. I'll have my social media girl post it on here so that you can have a countdown or something. We'll figure it out.
Amazing.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, everyone. Many, many blessings and protection and healing to all of you in the path of Ian. And how
Yes.
does it get any better? What else is possible? And we look forward to seeing you guys all next week. Ben, thank you so much, brother.
See
I
you
love
then.
you.
Same time, same place next week. Love you too. And don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with someone else who could use it today. Have
Yes,
a beautiful
please.
day, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.